For the past couple of weeks, we've been on the subject of 5 deadly mindsets that you have to get out of your life if you want to live the more intentional life and become the best possible version of yourself. Now, we've already talked about 3 of these mindsets in past videos. We've talked about the victim mindset, we've talked about the entitlement mindset, and we've talked about the scarcity mindset. And you can check out all 3 of those videos down in the description. But today we're talking about the 4th deadly mindset that we have to get out of our lives if we're going to become the best possible version of ourselves, and that is the deficiency mindset. So let's talk about it. So, what is the deficiency mindset? The deficiency mindset is the belief I can't do a thing. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I could never become this thing that I want to become. It's a strong belief that you're lacking in some innate ability, whether it's intelligence, whether it's resourcefulness, whether it's confidence, whether you're introverted, and so because I'm introverted, I can't do this thing. And it is the belief that you can't overcome that. And that's the really important part of understanding the deficiency mindset is the deficiency mindset is not just recognizing, oh, I'm lacking in an area, I'm lacking in an ability or skill, because we're all lacking in abilities or skill. That's the purpose of living the more intentional life, the endeavoring to become the best possible version of yourself is finding those gaps in your ability, finding those gaps in your knowledge or your skill or your resources, and then working to fill it. So it's not just this recognition that I'm lacking something. The deficiency mindset recognizes I'm lacking something and there's nothing I can do about it. And this deficiency mindset can show up in every area of life, but it can also show up in just a few areas. It's not like I'm lacking in everything. You can have a deficiency mindset in finances and in no other arena of life. Now, how does the deficiency mindset show up, or how do you know if you're have a deficiency mindset? Well, it shows up in phrases like, "Well, I can't do that." "Oh, I could never have that. I'd love to have that, but that's just not in the cards for me. That's just not something that'll ever happen. It's always been this way, or I've always just been this way, and there's really nothing I can do." Those are all indicative that you have limited yourself because you have a deficiency mindset. Now, what are some of the root causes of a deficiency mindset? Well, number one, you can get instilled with a deficiency mindset from a very young age just in how you are raised. How you are raised can cause you to develop a deficiency mindset very, very young. And that can come through your family or it can come through your culture. Kids are raised all the time being told that's just the way it is. Other people could have those things, but that's just not in the cards for our family. Your great granddaddy was poor, your granddaddy was poor, I'm poor, so you're going to be poor. Or no, we can't go beyond this level. We'll never get out of this town. We can never do that. You can be told that so much as a child that before you even know how to make real decisions for yourself, you already could have developed a deficiency mindset that says, here's my level and there's nothing I can do about it. Now, you can also develop a deficiency mindset at a young age, not because someone told it to you, but you begin comparing yourself to other people. You get into junior high and you get into high school and you start looking at the clothes, the popular kids or the cool kids wear, and you look at your clothes and you recognize, hey, there's a gap here. They have something I don't have. And just by comparing yourself with other people, you can start to believe, well, they have access to something that I don't have access to. And so because I don't have that thing, I'm limited. I'm deficient in that area. And so you can actually uh, develop a deficiency mindset even junior high, high school, and it's not even necessarily your parents' fault, but it's not unknowing what you're doing. You're comparing yourself with other people, and then you're recognizing the gap. And at that age, you don't know how to uh, make that gap go away. You don't know how to bridge that gap, and so you just start believing, well, then I'm on this side of the gap. This is where I'm at, and I can't get over to this other side. Another way that you can develop a deficiency mindset is experiencing failure and not having the tools on how to properly interpret failure. You can be raised a certain way. You can be raised to have a vision or to have a dream, but if you step out and try a thing and it fails, and you step out and try another thing and it fails, and you step out and try another thing and it fails, and you experience that enough, and you don't have the mental tools or the spiritual knowledge to understand that failure is a part of the process, you might begin to interpret that failure as a deficiency, that I must not have what I need to get that thing. And then you just begin to start believing, well, then this must be where I'm at. This is where I'm stuck. I tried the thing and I tried again and I tried again. And it just, that failure misinterpreted or not having the tools to interpret it correctly basically becomes the thing that proves to you, oh, I can't have that thing. I could never do that thing. Now, why is this such a harmful mindset to have? Well, number one, if you maintain a deficiency mindset, you will relegate yourself to a life of longing instead of a life of accomplishment. You know, part of the deficiency mindset versus the next mindset we're going to talk about in our next video is when you have a deficiency mindset, you desire to have greater things. You desire to do the thing. You just don't believe you can do it. And if you have this deficiency mindset, you long for something else, but because you have a belief you can never get there, you live a life of longing and not of a life of accomplishment, not a life of continuing endeavoring. Number two, the reason this is a harmful mentality for you is that you place an imaginary limit on yourself. That limit is not there, but if you have this deficiency mindset in different areas of life, you've said, this is my level. This is my limit. I can't go further. You've put a limit on yourself and you don't even know it when you allow yourself to live in this deficiency mindset. And then the last reason why this is so harmful is what we've talked about, these other deadly mindsets, is if you don't believe that you can, if you truly believe I can never get there, I can never have that, I can never be that, then eventually you'll never try. You will be stuck in life. Your life becomes stalled at the area you believe your deficiency limit is. You can't go any further. And when you get stuck in one place, you your life begins to become stagnant. You know, we've talked about this in so many videos in the More Intentional Life channel, that our life is supposed to be a life of continual growth. And the moment you stop your growth, you become stagnant. So how do we begin to deal with this deficiency mindset? Well, number one, there are a few things you're going to actually have to start recognizing and believe to start chipping away at this deficiency mindset. Number one, you have to recognize that your natural tendencies or your personality is not the same as an inability. It's not the same as I can't do that just because you have a tendency that way or your personality is that way. Number two, you have to begin to recognize that just because something makes you uncomfortable does not mean you can't do it. You know, some people, they get this deficiency mindset that I could never do that thing. But the reason they're saying it is because when I tried it, I was uncomfortable. Trying to do something and being uncomfortable doing it is not proof that you are unable to do it. It just means that you're not practiced in it. You're not comfortable with it because you haven't done it before. But that doesn't mean you're unable to do it. So what is the opposite of a deficiency mindset? What do we replace as we begin to work on changing our mindset, changing our way of thinking? What do we replace it with? We have to replace a deficiency mindset, which says, I can't do that. I could never have it. I'm missing something, some innate ability that I can't overcome. We have to change that with a capacity mindset. A capacity mindset doesn't say, oh, I can do all of that stuff. A capacity mindset recognizes the gaps. It recognizes where I'm lacking. I'm lacking in this skill. I'm lacking in the practice of this thing. I'm lacking in this bit of knowledge. You know, I'm lacking in getting comfortable in the situation. Capacity mindset doesn't say those things don't exist, but the capacity mindset says, I have the capacity to overcome all those things. It is that second part of the deficiency mindset that says, there's nothing I can do about it. The capacity mindset says there is something I can do about it. I can learn, I can grow, I can develop, I can practice. And because I have the capacity to do all those things, I can overcome any of the things that I'm lacking. I can overcome any of the things where I'm deficient right now. I don't have to stay deficient. I've said this before, but as a Christian, the Bible says that all men were made in the likeness and image of God. And I think because we are made in that likeness and image, that we have abilities on the inside of us, that our inner abilities are so much more than we've ever tapped into. I believe that you can learn anything. I believe the mind of man is unlimited. Now, the mind of man has been used for some things that are not too great, but it's also been used for some amazing things. And you look through history of some of the great men and women who've done just such amazing things, and it came out of their genius. It came out of these thoughts they had. We're unlimited in those areas, and that's what we're talking about, capacity. I may not have that right now, but because I'm made in the likeness and image of God, I believe I have the capacity to get there. I believe I can grow. I can accomplish anything I need to accomplish. We need to begin to believe that. It's the belief that the capacity I have to do the things that I'm called to do the things that I want to do the things that others need me to do, whether it's family or friends or society, I can get to where I need to go. So some of the practical ways you can begin to reframe your thoughts from a deficiency mindset to a capacity mindset is you need to replace words like I can't with I can learn how. Not that I'm able to right now. You're not lying to yourself. You don't say, well, I can't. You're like, oh, yeah, I can, when you don't know how to do it. But you replace I can't with I can learn how. You can replace I'm not enough with I can learn how to be enough. I can grow into enough. I can grow into sufficiency. Or you can replace I don't have that with I can get it. I may not have it right now, but my capacity is there to grow and to develop to get the thing that I need. When I was thinking about this phrase came to my mind, and I thought it was such a good phrase. I kind of patted myself on the back for it. I may not have everything I need, but I have everything I need to get everything I need. And what's that saying? That's saying I may not have everything I need right now, but I have a capacity in me that if I will take the steps, I have enough in me right now to take the next step and the next step and the next step to fill that capacity, which for the human being made in likeness and image of God is unlimited. I don't have everything I need, but I have everything I need to get everything I need. That's the capacity mindset. That's saying that's the recognition. Yeah, I have room to grow. I'm not sufficient in myself. I don't have everything I need, but I have the capacity to get to that place. I have the capacity to grow, to be everything God's called me to be, to do everything I'm called to do, and to help everybody I'm called to help. The mind of man, the capacity, the inner capacity of man is really unlimited. And when you develop that capacity mindset, that belief that I may not have everything I need, but I have the capacity for it and I can do it. And all I have to do is find the next step and then the next step and then the next step. You will be able to accomplish amazing things because what do? You're taking the limits off. The deficiency mindset puts the limit there. The capacity mindset says, I'm not there yet, but there's no limit to it. I can go wherever I need to go. I don't know if that has blessed you, but it certainly has blessed me. The other deadly mindsets that we've already talked about, the victim mindset, the mentality mindset, the scarcity mindset, I have not struggled with as much in the past, just because of the blessing that the Lord's on me, the family I was raised in. I didn't struggle so much with those, but I have in the past struggled with a deficiency mindset. I have struggled in the past, like, man, could I really do that? I'm not sure if I could. I'm not sure. But understanding the capacity that's within me because God put it in me has really just been helping me to understand there really is no limit. There's no limit in my inner capacity, and there's no limit with God. And if you'll just begin to get rid of these limits that you've placed on yourself from a deficiency mindset, there'll be no limit in you becoming the best possible version of yourself. If you want to learn more about these 5 deadly mindsets, you can check out this playlist here. But until I see you again, go out and live that more intentional life.